Today we're going to be talking about the customary system. So we've just finished learning about the metric system. The metric system was on base 10. Well, the customary system is a little bit different. What we're going to be looking at is we are still going to be looking at length, volume, and weight, but they're measured a little bit differently. So first let's start with length. Length in the customary system, which is a system that we use here in the United States, is we measure in feet, yards, and inches. So I've got a yardstick here. Now it's very similar to that meter stick, and I'm going to compare these right here so that you can see the difference. Now if you notice, if I put these end to end, that the meter stick is just a little bit bigger than the yard stick. But this is exactly 1 yard. Now things that we would use it for are, I know that I like to sew. So when I go to the fabric store and I ask for a yard of fabric, what I'm really asking for is 36 inches, because a yard is the same as either 3 feet or 36 inches. So this is 1 yard. What we also use is a ruler. Now a ruler is 12 inches or 1 foot. All right, so the next thing that we're going to look at also now is liquid volume. And if you've gone to the newsletter, you've seen that big G with the story about the Kingdom of Gallon with the 4 queens and the princesses. Back at school, I have a big poster that I would have put up at school, and I would have had you guys drawn that out. And that's a really great visual for you guys to see all the things that can fit into that gallon. So we're going to start off with looking at a cup. So this is a cup, and a cup is the same as 8 ounces. Now this is a pint. Now a pint has 16 ounces. So basically it's like 2 of these water bottles in this. So this is 1 pint or 16 ounces. Now we also know what our cup is. And one of the other things we'll need to know is a liquid ounce. So liquid ounce is the same as 2 tablespoons. We don't use that one quite as often, but it's good to know. And then the last thing we do is weight. And unfortunately I don't have any weights with me, but we measure in pounds and ounces. So what you need to know is that a pound is the same as 16 ounces. Now, I did find this little packet of Kool-Aid or Hawaiian Punch. Now, this is exactly 1 ounce. So it's fairly light, but it is not as light as a gram. Y'all remember the gram didn't weigh hardly anything? Now, this doesn't weigh very much either, but it's definitely a lot heavier than a gram. So I'd say maybe it's a handful of grapes, maybe 4 or 5 grapes maybe altogether. But this would be considered 1 ounce. All right, we're going to work on our activity sheet in just a Okay, I'm back. Now, this is our day 3 that we will be working on. Your video will be here that you will be watching, and this is the activity we will be completing together. Now, I would normally tell you, to have your star chart, but there is a really good chart up here that has everything listed. Now, again, these will be listed under your classroom assignment. So when you go in and you see this, you will have this link right here, and that will have all activities for all 4 days right there. Okay. Another thing that I've put in is we have put in some notes for you guys to take, and these have really good visuals for you to look at. Make sure that you go through this so that you have a better understanding of the concepts we are doing. All right, let's begin. So we have our worksheet right in front of us, and right up here we have our customary units already labeled for us. So this is a great visual for us to always refer back to, especially when it's given to us. Now, earlier this year, we learned about pattern tables or input-output tables. And right here, we've got some really great examples to help you figure out how to do work the tables. Now here, we've got a 3-part table where we've got 1 yard is the same as 3 feet, so 1 times 3 is 3. Now, if I have 3 feet and I want to figure out how many inches that is, I would multiply by 12. So 3 times 12 is 36. So this pattern continues on in this table. Now over here you'll notice that we're going from pounds to ounces. Well, 1 pound is 16 ounces, so we're going to multiply, and our process in between would be times 16. So 1 times 16 is 16, 5 times 16 is 80, and 8 times 16 is 128, and so forth. Now over here they've got a little bit of a bigger table, but it will definitely help you understand some of these better. Now what I'm going to do is, because this has got a little bit of room, and I'm going to take my sheet of paper that I have under here, and I'm going to write these out so that way you can see them a little easier. So as I write these, I'm just going to number these off. And I'm just going to write number 1, which is 2 gallons, equals to how many quarts? Well, I'm going from gallons to quarts, which means I'm going from a large unit to a small unit. Now we're still using that large to small, we multiply, or small to large, we divide. Now we're going from large to small. So first of all, I know that 1 gallon equals to 4 quarts. So I'm going to treat this like an input-output table. So then 2 gallons, my process in between would be to multiply times 4. So 2 times 4 is 8, which means that my answer would be 8. So I'm going to write this down. 2 times 4 is 8. Okay, let's move on to number 2. So for number 2, we've got 5 gallons. And we need to know how many quarts is 5 gallons. Well, I can still use the same table since it's the same thing. We're going from large to small, we multiply. Well, if I continue this table, this would be 5 times 4, which would equal to 20, which means 5 gallons is the same as 20 quarts. So I'm going to write these down here, 8 and 20. Okay, let's move it on to number 3. For number 3, we've got 5 yards equals to how many feet? Okay, so again, we are going from a large unit and trying to find the small unit, which means we are going to multiply. Now, I know that 1 yard equals to 3 feet. So I'm going to continue this table by doing 5. My process would be times 3. 5 times 3 is 15. So 5 yards equals to 15 feet. Now I've got number 4. So I'm going from, I have my 3 pounds, and I want to know how many ounces that is. Now again, we are going from pounds to ounces, which means from a larger unit to a smaller unit. So I know that 1 pound equals to 16 ounces. So if I have 3 pounds, then my process would be to multiply by 16. And 3 times 16 is 48. So 3 times 16 equals to 48. So my answer is 48 ounces. Let's look at number 5. Here, let me write my answer first. So number 5 is 9 feet, and I want to know how many inches that is. Well, again, I can go back to my little chart, And I know that 1 foot equals to 12 inches. Okay, so my process is 1 times 12. So if I have 9 feet, I'm going to multiply that by 12, and 9 times 12 is 108. So there are 108 inches in 9 feet. Now moving on to number 6. I've got 24 pints, and I want to know how many quarts that is. Okay, so now look at this, because now I'm going from a small unit to a large unit. So I'm going from small to large, which means I'm going to divide. Now, I'm going to divide by 2 because I know that 1 quart equals to 2 pints. So even though it's kind of like reversing this, 2 pints equals to 1 quart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be multiplying this, dividing this up. So I'm going to do 24 divided by 2, which is 12. So 12 quarts is the same as 24 pints. Now number 7. Number 7, I've got 12 quarts. And we want to know how many gallons that is. So again, we are going from a small unit to a large unit. Now I know 1 gallon equals to 4 quarts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take what I have, 12, and I'm going to divide that by 4, because I know that 1 gallon equals to 4 quarts. So 12 divided by 4 equals to 3. So 3 gallons, so 12 quarts is the same as 3 gallons. Having to move things back. Now number 8. So number 8, I've got 96 ounces. And I want to know how many pounds that is. Well, I'm going from ounces to pounds, so I am going to divide. Now I know 1 pound equals to 16 ounces. So I'm going to be doing 96 divided by 16. Now, it's a little bit, since we haven't done the 2-digit divisors, what you'll need to do is write out some of your 16ths. So first of all, I know 16 times 5 equals to 80, and 16 times 6 equals to 96. And oh, there you have it. So I know that 96 divided by 16 equals to 6. So 96 ounces is the same as 6 pounds. I'm going to flip my page over so we can do number 9. Okay, and number 9, what we are doing is we've got 10 pounds, and we need to know how many ounces that is. Okay, well, that's simple enough because we have a multiple of 10. Okay, so we are going from pounds, large unit to small. So large to small, we multiply. So 1 1 pound equals to 16 ounces. So 10 times 16 equals to 160. So 10 pounds is the same as 160 ounces. All right, so what I'll do is I'll now just kind of copy some of my answers right up onto this sheet after I've worked all of these out. And then I will go back to my my sheet on the presentation, and I will enter these in. So as I go in here, what you'll do is you'll just simply click on the box in here, double click on it, and it should go in the middle if you kind of just double click in the middle, and you'll start by entering in your answers. So this first one, my answer was 8, so I'll go in and type in 8, and then you'll do the rest for all of them, and you are done for the day.